When I'm traveling around the country doing events or at dinner parties, I'm often asked, how do you make your sauce? How do you make this beautiful sauce that complements the beef, the chicken, the fish? The most popular sauce that we do with my 18 Royally team is a whiskey mushroom cream sauce. And it's so versatile because you can serve it with chicken, you can serve it with beef tenderloin, you can serve it with lamb, and you can serve it with fish. It just goes with everything. And if you actually thin it down a little, you have the perfect mushroom cream soup. Now, in my sauce, I actually put some wild mushrooms too. And I've got some dried wild mushrooms. They're much cheaper and they're perfect for this sauce. And I've also got some, obviously, baby portobellos too. Now, if you don't want to pay for the wild mushrooms, then just use a few extra of just the regular field mushrooms. My dried ones I've soaked in hot water first, and the liquid in there, don't throw that away because we're going to add that to the sauce and it gives it an extra depth. I start off, I'm going to season my chicken, and I only want salt and pepper on this because the sauce is going to be our flavor. So no rubs or anything like that, just salt and pepper. And once I've done that, both sides, and it's the same if you're doing a piece of fish, it's the same as if you're doing some beef tenderloin, fillet of beef, steak and mushroom sauce. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Side of mashed potatoes. I mean, oh, the ultimate entree comfort food. Next, I'm going to take my sauté pan and cook the chicken. So I have some olive oil and I have some butter, and I'm going to cook this, heat it first, and then put my chicken in. Melt the butter in the olive oil, and by using both together, the butter gives us that beautiful rich flavor on the chicken, but the olive oil actually stops the butter from going too brown and burning. Then we're going to put them presentation side down first into the pan. And we leave them just to sear for about 3 minutes. Once the chicken is seared, then I can turn this over and I'm going to reduce the heat right down and let that just cook all the way through. While the chicken's cooking, I'm going to make some rice. A little olive oil in the pan, and then 1 cup of rice. And I'll stir that together, and it goes over the heat. And then I'm going to add 2 cups of water. It's always 2 to 1. 1 cup of rice, 2 cups of water. You can use chicken broth, fish broth, vegetable broth, or just water in there if you want to. As I said, in this dish, the actual sauce is going to give us all the flavor. On the stove, stir this around, and then I can add the water. Add the water, and we're going to bring this to a boil. And that's really, really important when you're doing this rice. Once the water starts boiling, then we give it 1 final stir. We turn the heat down really, really low, and we put a lid on top. Now we leave it for 18 minutes. Yes, 18 minutes. It has to be 18 minutes. Don't lift the lid, don't stir it, don't shake the pan, just leave it there and let it simmer away, and we'll have perfect fluffy rice. In my whiskey wild mushroom cream sauce, I'm going to add some onion, mushrooms, wild mushrooms, a little flour, whiskey obviously, some garlic and salt and pepper. First, I've got to chop my mushrooms, and you can put them in quarters if you want. For me, I like them in nice slices. As I said, if you want to use quarters, you can do that too. If you want to use all wild mushrooms, you can. But for me, this combination of the field mushrooms, the baby portobellos, the wild mushrooms, it really makes a nice sauce. So take the wild mushrooms and give them a squeeze and take them out of this liquid. But don't throw this liquid away. Remember, this is just hot water that we've used to rehydrate the mushrooms. And now I'm just going to cut them a little bit because we don't want great big chunky mushrooms. Now, as soon as the chicken's cooked, we'll make the sauce. The chicken's going to need about 10 minutes on the stove, depending on the size and the thickness of it. If you want, you can sear it, put it in the oven, 350 degrees, cook it for about 10 minutes as well. But I like to just cook it in the pan. You'll notice when we come in close, we get that nice browning across the top, and that's called the Maillard reaction, the caramelization of all the proteins. And you know, when you have steak on the grill, it tastes so much better than, you know, than say, you know, like chicken that's been in a soup. It's just like chicken. That Maillard reaction really does give a nice flavor to whatever meat you're cooking. So when we're cooking chicken, a lot of people will say, well, how do I know that it's cooked? Chefs, they'll press it and say, yeah, that's ready, because they've been cooking it for so long. I don't mean like on the stove, I mean so many years. But if you take that out and put it on a plate, then again, a lot of people will just cut this in half and it looks a mess. But if you turn it upside down, go into the thickest part with a knife and just look to see the juices. And if the juices come out clear, then the chicken's cooked. Turn it back over and nobody even knows that you've tested that chicken. Look at that. Right, back on the stove, I've got here something called my deglaçage. It's all the juices and flavors from the chicken, and they're going to make this beautiful sauce. So I leave those on the stove. The chicken's going to rest and the rice is almost cooked. Now I'm going to turn up the gas and add my onions and the mushrooms. A pinch of salt and then just a splash more oil. And I'm going to let these saute until the onions are just nice and soft and translucent. Give them a stir every now and again. And you can see already the meat juices on the bottom have already started lifting away. This takes about 5 minutes just to soften these. Just keep giving them a stir. Once the onions softened and become translucent and the mushrooms are cooked, I'm going to add just a little garlic in there. I don't like to add it too early because the garlic does tend to burn. Then a little flour, only a little, and this stops the sauce from splitting. Now I can add the juices from my wild mushrooms. Oh, it smells amazing already. Next, a little chicken broth and some cream, and let that just simmer away all those flavors. While the sauce is simmering away and while the chicken is resting, we can check on the rice. It smells great, and look at this. We take it out so we don't get the residual heat to cook it any longer, and we can just drop this into another bowl. Nice and light and fluffy rice. Add a little salt in there, a little pepper, and we'll just leave that just to cool slightly. The sauce has reduced now quite a lot, and so I can add my whiskey in there. The whiskey is optional, you don't have to put that in there, but it does give a really nice flavour, especially if you're doing a dinner party. I've got a few juices from the chicken that's been resting, so that needs to go in there too. Look at that. That's just the perfect whiskey wild mushroom cream sauce. Once the sauce has got to the consistency that you want to, it smells amazing, it really does. Then we're going to test it for seasoning, see if we need any more salt and pepper in there. A little pinch of pepper. We've got the perfect sauce. I'm going to take a bowl, put my rice on the bottom. If you want to use mashed potatoes, polenta looks amazing with this dish, they go perfect. Rice in the center there. We can take our chicken breast. I'm actually using 2 on this one. And the sauce over the top. Look at that, the perfect chicken with a whiskey wild mushroom cream sauce. And then just finish with a little greenery. We can use parsley on there, but I like to use green onions, some spring onions, finely chopped, and then we can just sprinkle those over the top. Pan-seared chicken, rice, and a whiskey wild mushroom cream sauce. Doesn't get much better than this. It's just the perfect dinner party dish, or just to cook for the family in the week. You don't have to put the wild mushrooms in, or the whiskey if you don't want to, but that looks amazing. The recipe's in the description below. Share the recipe with your friends. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think to this dish, because I want you to make this one at home too. That's my dish. I'll see you again soon.